Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to dive right into how the 2026 Subaru Solterra is totally flipping the standard EV formula on its head. I mean, we hear so much about blistering 0 to 60 times and those sleek spaceship-style designs, right? But what happens when you actually need an electric vehicle to, well, work for a living? In the cold, the mud, and the snow.
Okay, let's dive into this question because it's a critique we hear all the time. There's this lingering perception out there that electric vehicles are really just pavement princesses, primarily designed for smooth, sun-drenched California highways and perfectly pristine city streets. But today, we're unpacking a fascinating EV that literally isn't afraid to get dirty. We're looking at a vehicle built from the ground up to handle rugged trailhead access roads and completely unpredictable weather. It absolutely proves that electric capability doesn't just stop where the pavement ends.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll hit the 2026 Solterra glow up. Second, taming instant electric torque. Third, how it's built for the long haul. And finally, Section 4, is this your next EV?
All right, Section 1, the 2026 Solterra glow up.
Listen, the first generation of the Solterra faced some totally fair criticisms, but the upgrades for 2026 are massive. I mean, look at this. Power jumps 57%. It goes from 215 horsepower up to 338 in the new XT model. DC fast charging peaks at a much quicker 150 kilowatts. And crucially, this is a real game changer, it ditches the old CCS port for a standard NACS port. That one move unlocks over 15,000 Tesla Superchargers across North America. Now, what's really interesting here is how these updates laser target the needs of drivers in demanding, cold climates. We're talking places like Ontario or the Hudson Valley. You get a 25% range increase, pushing it to roughly 288 miles, or about 450 kilometers. Subaru kept their famous symmetrical all-wheel drive as a standard feature, along with a towering 8.3 inches of ground clearance. But for winter drivers, the best part is the new battery preconditioning system. Whether you trigger it yourself or just use the navigation, it warms the battery up to its perfect temperature before you even plug it in. That solves one of the biggest, most annoying headaches of winter EV charging. Moving right along to Section 2, taming instant electric torque. So, giving an EV a real off-road advantage requires some incredibly clever engineering. Think about the physical nature of electric motors for a second. EVs deliver instant torque right from 0 RPM. On dry pavement, that feels amazing. But if you drop instant torque on ice or deep mud, no way. You're just going to spin the tires and go absolutely nowhere, because it overwhelms the grip instantly. This is exactly where Subaru's X-Mode fundamentally changes how the Solterra puts power down. And remarkably, this terrain management system is standard across all 4 trims. They aren't hiding the good stuff behind an expensive upgrade package. So, how does it actually work? Well, it's basically a 4-step process that gives the mechanical systems time to figure things out before wheel slip ruins your day on a snowy trailhead. First, X-Mode creates a more gradual throttle mapping. It kind of smooths out that instant punch. Second, it tweaks the traction control to actually allow for intentional wheel slip, helping the tires dig through the icy crust to find the real grip underneath. Third, it uses independent ABS braking to keep you pointing the right way. And fourth, actually, this is brilliant, it drops the regenerative braking. Why? Because on an icy road, strong region braking on the rear wheels can actually cause you to slide the second you lift your foot off the pedal. X-Mode just nips that in the bud. And tucked inside that system is a feature called grip control. Instead of white-knuckling your way down a steep gravel slope or some terrifying unpaved winter driveway, the car literally handles the speed for you. It's like a low-speed off-road cruise control. The braking system prevents the vehicle from running away downhill, leaving you completely free to focus on steering safely. All right, let's look at Section 3, built for the long haul. Beyond just traction and power, the whole philosophy behind this vehicle is focused heavily on real-world durability. And that really starts with this number, 90%. That is a very intentional figure. Subaru engineered this battery pack, which sits between 71.4 and 77 kilowatt hours depending on the trim, with a highly conservative focus. They want it to maintain 90% of its original capacity even after 10 years of use. That is a deeply reassuring figure. Actually, it's better than reassuring because it's noticeably above the industry average, which usually assumes a much faster rate of degradation.
While a lot of other EVs out there are busy chasing spec sheet bragging rights, pushing battery chemistry to the absolute ragged edge for the fastest charge times or max range, this setup prioritizes stability. The Solterra uses prismatic lithium-ion cells from CATL, utilizing NCM, that's nickel, cobalt, manganese chemistry. They chose this specifically because it performs remarkably well in freezing temperatures, unlike a lot of the alternatives. Plus, it's fully integrated into the rigid Subaru Global platform, making the whole vehicle stiffer and stronger. It's really an investment in peace of mind. The battery has an advanced liquid heating and cooling system to protect the cells during rapid charging and extreme weather swings. It's also wrapped up in robust physical protection to handle all the impacts and vibrations of off-road driving. And to back the whole thing up, Subaru slaps on a warranty covering 8 years or 160,000 kilometers. It's definitely a battery built for substance over flash. Which brings us to Section 4. Is this your next EV? So let's look impartially at how the 2026 Solterra stacks up, because let's face it, buyers have incredible options today. According to the rigorous testing over at Car and Driver, the Solterra currently sits at number 9 in the electric compact SUV segment with a score of 7.5 out of 10. They definitely praise the massive upgrades to the acceleration and charging speeds, but they make it clear that it lacks the raw highway range or the exciting futuristic styling of class leaders. For instance, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 scored a perfect 10, and the Tesla Model Y is sitting pretty at number 4. If your absolute top priorities are head-turning aesthetics and maximum highway range, reviewers suggest the Solterra probably isn't your standout pick. However, what it loses in sleek aesthetics or track-ready top speeds, it completely makes up for it with pure, uncompromising utility. The vehicle comes loaded with standard safety tech, including Subaru's awesome eyesight system. Combine that with the incredible 8.3-inch ground clearance, and you have unmatched capability in the spring mud or deep snow. As Matthew Panaro, a dealership general manager, pointed out, while other EVs might hesitate when conditions get tough, the Solterra is fundamentally designed to handle the trailheads, the gravel, and the unplowed January roads. So it all comes down to what you actually need your vehicle to do on a daily basis. If your environment demands resilience, the Solterra offers a deeply pragmatic solution. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. I hope you learned something new about this really unique EV. I'll leave you with this final thought. What terrain are you trying to conquer?